Hello people, welcome to my channel. My name is Aviral and those people who just saw this video. So here we have started a series of there we're going to cover all 200 design rules and the rule of thumb given on the book Signal and Power Integrity Simplified by Eric Bogatin. And if you want to purchase this book, it is available on Amazon on for Kindle and hardcover, both editions you can purchase from there. So today in this video we're going to discuss about the rule number 1, which is use controlled impedance traces, right? So there is a lot of number of pages and where Eric discussed everything in very detail, and here we're going to discuss few questions throughout this video. So the first question is, what is the meaning of impedance, right? How we can able to estimate the impedance throughout the track, right? Another question that we can ask from this rule, which is what is the instantaneous and characteristic impedance, and how we can control those impedance. So again, what is the meaning of controlled impedance, right? When we can say like our impedance is controlled throughout the track, right? And another thing that we're going to discuss is what factor affects the impedance control. So that is also an important topic. We'll discuss, okay, these are the factors either in our layout or in our stack up, those affects the impedance control. So let's start the tutorial. But before going further, NextPCB again came with lot of offers and surprises for you and for this Christmas. So there is a lucky draw up to $50 of discount on PCBs and components, and they have like up to $20,000 of gifts for you. And if you order your PCB from NextPCB, so just quickly register yourself on their website and just upload your Gerbers, check for all the DFMs, whatever you want to check, right? And just order your PCB instant. They have again, like this is their like trial PCB. If you are creating prototypes, you can simply order your PCB free of cost, right? And again, it's awesome lead time. You will just get your PCB. It is shipped within 24 hours, right? So it is really awesome if you are creating prototype for your product or for your company. So there is a huge discount going on. So quickly guys, just grab this opportunity, register yourself right now on nextpcb.com. So here, instead of discussing everything directly from the book, I have created a number of slides and took the screenshot from the book, so I can able to provide the very direct information. So let's move to the slide number 1. And here, as you can see, apart from discussing the whole paragraph, I'm just going to brief everything. So here Eric wants us to imagine, so as its name suggests, be the signal. So he wants us to see ourselves as a signal and just move along the track and see what is the impedance that we can see, right? So here we can imagine a situation where we have applied a voltage of 1 volt, as you can see my cursor here, right? And we have to see, so this is the total track is 10 feet long, and after moving a particular length, we can see there is a positive and negative charge on the signal and its return path, right? And as you can see on the signal line also, so before the voltage was 0, and after applying the voltage, there is a 1 volt of voltage rise, right? So this thing we can imagine as one capacitor at a particular instance, right? And if we'll move throughout the line, we'll see these number of capacitor array, right? So here we can see 3 unknown terms, C, CL and delta X. So here CL is the capacitance per unit length, delta X is the length of one step or one footstep that we are taking as a walking through the transmission line. So, and capital C is the capacitance of one footstep, right? So from the formula, the capacitance of one footstep is the capacitance per unit length multiplied by the length of one step, right? So from that we can able to calculate these instantaneous capacitance throughout the line, right? And that capacitance is between the signal and its return path, right? Now we're going to move to another slide, and there we'll discuss how we can able to calculate the current as well as the instantaneous impedance, right? And that instantaneous impedance will be our so we'll discuss that. So let's move to the another slide, and here you can see, if you read this paragraph, you'll see current of the current that flows into the line is equal to charge required to each time interval. So that means charge divided by delta t, and that delta t is the time to step from capacitor to capacitor, right? And that delta t is directly related to, so again, time is equal to displacement by velocity, and here velocity is the speed of signal, okay? And delta x is, we all know that the delta x is the length of one step, right? So from this formula we can able to see I is equal to CL into velocity of signal into voltage applied, right? So this is our instantaneous current. Now we'll see what is the instantaneous impedance. So again we'll see the instantaneous impedance is V divided by I, right? And here we'll put all the values from this equation 711, and from there you can able to see it is directly related to dielectric constant of the material and capacitance per length of the line, which is picofarad per inch, right? And we'll get instantaneous impedance of a transmission line in ohms, right? So from all this discussion we can able to see, okay, this is how our instantaneous impedance is related to the coupling between the signal and its return path, right? And that also depends on the dielectric material properties. Okay, now we'll see the next step or the next question that we have asked on the first slide. What is characteristic impedance and controlled impedance, right? So again, if you read this paragraph, you'll see there is one instantaneous impedance that is characteristic for a uniform line. We refer to this constant instantaneous impedance as the impedance that is characteristic of a line or the characteristic impedance of the line. So here the author wants to say that like our instantaneous impedance, like wherever we'll see, because we are walking through the line and we are seeing impedance after each instance or after each footstep. So wherever we see, we'll find the same instantaneous impedance, and that will be our characteristic impedance, right? That we define for the signal line. For example, 50 ohm or 100 ohm, 90 ohm, like that. Another thing that I have highlighted, the characteristic impedance of a line will tell us the instantaneous impedance of a signal. So instantaneous impedance is like delta x, after each delta x, what is the impedance, right? We'll see as it propagates down the line. As we will see, this is the chief factor of influencing the signal integrity of a transmission line. So obviously we have to maintain the characteristic impedance, or we have to control the characteristic impedance throughout the track, right? So that is how characteristic impedance is related to our instantaneous impedance. Now another term is controlled impedance. So if you'll read another slide, so what is the control impedance? We call a line that has a constant instantaneous impedance down its length a control impedance line. That's it, right? So like we can able to control the impedance throughout the track by changing either properties. The impedance should be constant, right? And here, which impedance we are talking about? We are talking about instantaneous impedance. Okay. So again, I hope you guys get the point what I want to discuss here. Now, we all know that what factors that affects the impedance. So again, if you'll see the formula, from here we can able to see there are CL and epsilon R, which affects the instantaneous impedance, right? And that instantaneous impedance will be our characteristic impedance for a particular track, right? So how these properties change, we'll discuss that. So these properties depends on these 6 factors. One is a line width. Obviously, if we'll change the width of a track, then the capacitance will change, right? A layer change through a via. Again, via adds its own inductance properties, right? So if we are using multiple vias throughout the line, then it can also there will be discontinuity in the impedance. Another is gap. So gap is basically related to coupling, or again the capacitance, right? A connector. So here, like if we are using some external component, a connector or anything, so that also can disturb the impedance properties. Another is a branch. So again, branch, T and stub, these kind of component divide the current, and if current will go in that direction, our impedance will vary, right? Because it's directly related to current. Another is the end of net. So here Eric want to say like the package impedance is also matters here. So if we are using a package which it's like internal impedance is not controlled, then that can also affect the the controlling of impedance. Okay, so these are few factors that we have to take care of during the design as well as layer stack up design, right? So yeah, so this is our rule number 1. Till now, if you have any doubt or anything you want to discuss, you can comment on the comment section, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. So thank you, people.